Hi, I'm Lou Meyer, arborist with the Davey Tree Expert Company, and we're talking trees today, specifically construction damage, what it is, how you can prevent it, and how you can mitigate any of that damage to trees on your property. Construction happens all the time on sites that already have established trees. What we want to do is mitigate damage to those trees so that their long-term health is not jeopardized and you can continue to enjoy your outdoor living space with your new additions. During construction, there are three major ways that damage occurs to trees. The first is root damage, underground damage that's caused by excavation. When we're digging up areas with backhoes or shovels or other instruments, we can really rip those roots and damage the trees. The second method of damage to the trees through construction processes is through soil compaction. So the root systems of the trees that are underground, when you're rolling large equipment over those, you're pressing down on the roots, potentially damaging the roots. But more importantly, you're compacting the soil. Now, soil composition is really important. Pore spaces in the soil allow for oxygen, water, and nutrients to accumulate. But when you squish those pore spaces down with heavy equipment, the long-term effect results in a lack of those things getting into the canopy of the tree. A third way that damage occurs to trees during construction project is through mechanical damage to the trunk and canopy of the trees. So think about a bobcat that hits the trunk of a tree and rips off part of the bark, or even a shovel that can do the same thing. Anytime you damage and open up that bark, what you're doing is opening the defense mechanism of the tree. Trunk of the tree is kind of like our skin. It's the first line of defense against pathogens and diseases that can get into the systems of the trees. As with anything, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So getting ahead of these issues before your construction project takes place is really important. Talk to your architect or landscape manager or whoever's doing the project about ways to mitigate and avoid damage to your trees. One simple step is to install fencing around the drip line of a tree. So anywhere that the crown extends over, put orange fencing around it to let the construction crews know that they're not to pass into that area. The root zone is a critical area, and that fence line says don't do any damage underground. It also keeps mechanical devices like equipment and shovels and the rest from damaging the trunks of those trees. So now that your construction project is complete, what should you be thinking about to help your trees along the way? Well, first and foremost, we've talked about compacted soil. We use air tools to aerate that soil. Much like pulling plugs out of your lawn in the fall to allow oxygen and water percolate down into the soil system, using air tools to dig down 10 to 12 inches to where the root systems of the trees are located helps alleviate that soil compaction. We also want to talk about watering your trees. Anytime a tree is stressed out, making sure that it has the proper amount of water is paramount to its long-term success. With all this in mind, the best thing to do is prior to engaging in a construction project at your house or property, talk to an arborist about ways to mitigate and avoid damage before anything occurs and ways to mitigate damage that has occurred during that project.